This footage brings us into the home of Paul Gorton, a familiar face to many. But the circumstances here are far from his usual public appearances. It is a quiet Sunday afternoon, the house is flooded with natural light, and the atmosphere seems entirely domestic and safe. However, the peace is shattered when his young son, Charlie, begins to react to something unseen in the room. Children are often thought to be more sensitive to the supernatural, and Charlie's sudden fear is palpable as he fixates on a specific area of the hallway. The conviction in the boy's voice as he describes a scary boy standing right there is enough to send a chill down any parent's spine, turning a normal day into a chilling investigation of the unknown.
What are you saying, Charlie? There's a scary boy where?
The immediate distress Charlie shows is difficult to fake. While some might suggest a child's overactive imagination, his physical reaction suggests he is genuinely seeing a figure near the door. Paul tries to remain calm, but as the boy points again, the tension in the house becomes thick. Watch carefully as they move closer to the area Charlie is identifying.
There's a scary boy where? What do you mean? What, are you doing pretend? Yeah, you're just playing pretend, aren't you? Do you want to show me? Show me then. Come on. You show me where he is. This isn't actually... Where? Where? In there? In there? Okay, get ready, Charlie. No scary boy. No, there's nothing there, mate. Do you want me to go in? Look, there's absolutely nothing in here. You've got nothing to be scared about. I'm absolutely shitting myself. There's nothing to be scared about. There's nothing here. That's just the bathroom. Nothing there, buddy. Yeah, that's just the shower. Never been more scared in my entire life. See, told you, nothing there, mate. Perfect. Come on, let me see thee.
As Paul approaches the door, Charlie is adamant that the figure is right there. Skeptics would argue that kids often create imaginary friends or foes to process their environment, and that no actual figure is visible on the camera lens. However, others find the child's raw fear and the specific location he targets, a dark corner behind a door, to be incredibly convincing. Paul's own unease, despite his attempts to be the brave protector, adds a layer of authenticity to the encounter. Could a child really be seeing a residual spirit in such a bright, modern home, or is this simply a case of a toddler's mind playing tricks? It's a debate that has sparked thousands of theories online. What do you make of Charlie's reaction? Share your thoughts in the comments below. The next piece of evidence comes from a YouTuber who began recording after hearing strange noises in his kitchen. He lives in a typical suburban home, but lately he's been plagued by what sounds like someone aggressively banging on the doors when he's completely alone. The video starts with him standing in the hallway trying to catch the source of the disturbance on camera. There is a heavy, oppressive silence in the air that is only broken by the sharp, metallic sounds of the house seemingly coming alive. He moves through the rooms with a mix of frustration and genuine fear, documenting a series of events that defy simple explanation and suggest a presence that is very much aware of his attempts to record it. The way that door swings open is incredibly deliberate. It doesn't look like a draft or a loose hinge. It moves with force. He checks the rooms, finding them empty, but the activity doesn't stop there. As he returns to the kitchen, the unseen entity seems to take offense to his presence, resulting in an even more violent outburst just moments later.
So up. Close the door.
This second instance of the door opening, paired with the aggressive banging heard just seconds prior, is what makes this footage so startling. Skeptics often point to the possibility of fishing lines or hidden assistance behind the door, especially since the camera doesn't show the other side of the frame during the movement. They also note that the banging could be a sound effect added in post-production. On the other hand, the uploader's heavy breathing and frantic movements appear quite authentic. If this is a hoax, it's a very well-executed one. If it's real, it suggests a poltergeist-type haunting that is growing in intensity. The repetitive nature of the banging is a common trait in these types of reports. I'm curious to know if you think this is a clever setup or a genuine haunting. Drop a comment with your perspective. This video was captured by a user who felt like they were being watched while home alone. They set up their camera to record a doorway leading into a darkened living area, hoping to debunk their own fears. The room is quiet, with only the ambient light from the hallway illuminating the edge of a large wooden cabinet. This is the kind of setup that usually yields nothing, but in this case, the camera manages to catch something peering out from the shadows. The motion is subtle at first, almost looking like a trick of light, but as the video progresses, the movement becomes more distinct and repetitive, suggesting a physical presence that is intentionally hiding just out of plain sight. The repetitive nature of this entity's movements is what many find most disturbing about this video. Skeptics point out that in a dark room, compression artifacts can sometimes create phantom shapes that appear to move when they don't. Others suggest it could be a person in a suit, though the homeowner insists they were alone. There's also the possibility of a puppet being moved by a string from behind the cabinet. However, the consistent shape and the way it seems to react to the light make it a compelling piece of footage. It captures that primal fear of something lurking just out of sight. Does this look like a physical intruder to you, or something more spectral? I'd love to hear your theories in the comments. We've just witnessed 3 incredibly distinct types of paranormal activity, from a child's terrifying vision to aggressive physical disturbances and a shadow figure that seems to be playing a dark game of hide and seek. If these clips are making you question what's lurking in your own home, make sure to subscribe to Pale Playback and hit the notification bell. We bring you fresh, analyzed evidence every single week. Stay with us, because the investigations are about to get even more intense. This chilling footage originates from TikTok user Corrali Hall, a nurse working the graveyard shift at a local nursing home. The facility is quiet, bathed in the sterile glow of fluorescent lights, but the atmosphere is heavy with more than just the fatigue of a long shift. Staff members have long whispered about corridors that seem to hold onto the echoes of former residents. But on this particular night, the building's communication system began to behave in a way that defied logical explanation, pulling Kira into a search for an occupant who simply wasn't there.
803. So we're gonna go to 803.
The panel clearly indicates a call from room 803, yet the wing is entirely vacant. Kira heads down the hall to investigate, but notice how the air feels still until she reaches the bathroom. As she approaches the back of the room, the second alert triggers, and this time the source is even more localized.
Literally, no one in here. Nada. Tell me why. And I've turned off all these call lights. I think I'm just gonna keep the lights on for the time being, because I'm probably gonna have to keep coming in here. But literally, they're like the buttons aren't even lighting up in here. It's just alarming outside in the hallway that there's somebody in here pushing it. And we've been in here twice now.
The bathroom call light is glowing red in a room that is verified to be empty. Paranormal enthusiasts suggest that residents who have passed on might still be trying to reach out for the assistance they relied on in life. Skeptics, however, point toward the possibility of a mechanical short within the antiquated wiring system, which can be prone to false triggers. Others suggest it could be a simple prank by a coworker out of frame, though Kira seems genuinely unsettled by the isolation of the wing. The timing of the bathroom light immediately after she entered is certainly coincidental if it's just a wire. What do you make of this silent plea for help? Drop your theories in the comments below. The following video takes us into the depths of a residential basement with TikTok user Joshua Biard. Basements are naturally prone to settling noises and temperature shifts, but the activity captured here feels deliberate. Josh went downstairs after hearing what he described as laughter and movement coming from the storage area. The space is cluttered with boxes and laundry machines, creating a labyrinth of shadows where your mind can easily play with shapes. But as the camera settles on a specific toy, the motion becomes impossible to ignore.
Okay. Hearing laughter or something coming from the room. Of course, it stops as soon as I. As soon as I play it here.
The wooden rocking horse is moving with a steady momentum that suggests a physical weight was recently applied. While the motion itself is startling, listen closely to the audio as the camera begins to pan back toward the stairs. A secondary sound suggests Josh isn't alone. Just as the rocking horse slows, a faint sound resembling a child's laugh can be heard echoing through the basement. Believers argue this is a classic case of a residual haunting, where the energy of a past inhabitant continues to interact with their favorite objects. Skeptics are quick to point out the presence of a floor fan in the background, suggesting that a focused gust of air could provide enough force to start a balanced toy rocking. Additionally, the laughter could be attributed to a video playing in another room. However, the weight of the wooden toy makes the wind theory difficult to sustain without a significant draft. Is this a playful spirit or just a series of physical coincidences? Tell me what you see in the shadows in the comments. This account from Leonardo captures the terrifying moment a quiet night at home turned into a confrontation with the unexplained. The uploader had just settled into bed when the silence was shattered by sounds coming from the hallway. This isn't a slow, creeping noise, but a frantic physical presence that seems to be rushing directly toward his bedroom door. The vulnerability of being trapped in a small room makes the ensuing sounds much more impactful as the entity begins to focus its energy on the only barrier remaining.
Me acabo de acostar, pero hay algo que lo escuché. Hay alguien corriendo.
The rapid footsteps stop abruptly right outside the door. There is a heavy silence before the handle begins to rattle violently. Keep your eyes on the door frame. The force being applied is enough to make the wood audibly groan, setting the stage for a more aggressive encounter.
Hay alguien corriendo. ¡Basta! ¡Basta!
The banging is relentless, yet when the door is opened, there is no one there. But the activity isn't over. As he explores the bathroom, the door handle begins to move again, this time from the inside.
¡Basta! 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 Aparece, basta. Aparece. Salí. Yo no te tengo más miedo. No te tengo más miedo. Aparece.
The level of physical interaction in this clip is staggering. Proponents of the paranormal believe this shows a poltergeist, an entity capable of manipulating physical objects with great force. Skeptics suggest a hidden accomplice in the hallway or the use of thin wires to pull the handle. They also point to the camera's limited field of view, which could hide a person ducking into another room. However, the speed of the footsteps followed by the immediate silence is difficult to replicate. Was this a malicious spirit or a very well-executed hoax? Share your thoughts on this high-energy encounter in the comments. We've just witnessed a nursing home that won't let go of its past, a basement occupied by an unseen playmate, and a home under siege by a relentless entity. If these clips have you questioning the safety of your own hallways, make sure to subscribe to Pale Playback and hit the notification bell. We bring you fresh evidence and deep forensic analysis every single week. Stay tuned, because the investigations are about to get even more intense. Our next case comes from Kirby J., who began documenting her home after a series of bizarre injuries and equipment failures. The house itself is modern and spacious, yet Kirby claims it's occupied by a spirit that prefers to communicate through her mother's collection of dolls and old toys. The tension in the video is palpable as she walks through the kitchen, only to be interrupted by a sound that shouldn't be happening, a child's toy singing a song that no one has activated in months. It's the start of a sequence that suggests the toys aren't the only things moving.
I have ghosts in my house. All of a sudden I'm sitting here and I hear a child's toy going. I hear a child's toy going off back here. By the way,
the singing is just the beginning. As Kirby attempts to locate the toy, a cabinet door in the background swings open with surprising speed. This movement happens while she is facing the other direction, suggesting an intelligence that waits for her to be distracted before making its move.
I hear a child's toy going off back here. By the way, no child has been here. No. Wait. I think it's up here. I'm so scared. My mom's grandkids. Don't touch this.
The most unsettling part involves the doll. Kirby notes that the head has been slowly rotating toward the window over several days. In this sequence, the change in position is confirmed, following a series of accidents that Kirby attributes to the object's presence.
What is that? Why would the child's toy be going off if no kid has played with them in months? Like, I kid you not, my nieces and nephews have not touched these toys in months, and all of a sudden it starts singing today? No. Oh my god. After I was just on the phone with my friend telling her I had ghosts in my house. Let me show you. My mom bought this Annabelle doll a couple of years ago. When we first got her, she was facing forward like this. Every day, she's been slowly turning to look out the window. We think that she's mad because my mom puts stuff on top of her box and she doesn't like it. I should mention, the day after my mom brought this Annabelle doll home, my mom broke her ankle in the room right over there in the corner. And then a couple nights ago, my mom tripped on something in the middle of the night. We don't know what she tripped on and got a concussion in the back of her head. I'm scared.
This video presents a complex layer of activity. Some viewers believe the spontaneity of the toy and the cabinet door are signs of a haunted residence. Skeptics argue that low batteries can cause toys to trigger randomly, and an unlevel cabinet door might swing open due to gravity. As for the doll without a time lapse, it's difficult to rule out someone manually adjusting its position. However, the combination of these events is enough to make any homeowner wary. Is this a haunted collection or just a series of unfortunate coincidences? Let us know what you think in the comments. This footage captures a group of friends enjoying a night out at what appears to be a local park area. The atmosphere is lighthearted as they take turns on a massive, high-arching swing. However, as the momentum builds, the camera catches something that defies the physics of the playground. What starts as a simple game takes a chilling turn when one of the participants seems to vanish or be replaced by a shadow high in the canopy. The graininess of the night footage only adds to the sense of unease as the figures on the ground continue their play, seemingly unaware of the anomaly captured by the lens.
Gente, denle despacito, no me la vayan a mandar a dar por arriba. No bajen los pies. Ahí era la buena.
No bajes los pies.
Look closely at the peak of the swing's arc where a figure appears to manifest in the trees. Some viewers believe this is a genuine paranormal manifestation, specifically because the figure seems to move independently of the swing. Others argue it's a clever edit or an artifact of the low-light sensors struggling with movement. Skeptics also point out that the shadows of the surrounding trees could create a pareidolia effect. While the sighting is brief, it leaves a lingering question about what exactly was lurking in those woods that night. The ambiguity of the movement is enough to make any parent second-guess a nighttime trip to the park. Let me know down in the comments what you think about this footage. Uprated to Reddit by a user walking home late at night, this POV video begins as a mundane commentary on the state of modern life. The narrator is venting her frustrations to the camera, clearly distracted. However, as a car passes, its headlights briefly illuminate the path ahead, revealing a dark silhouette that shouldn't be there. The suddenness of the sighting completely derails her train of thought, leaving her in a state of shock. The isolation of the road and the late hour create the perfect backdrop for a roadside encounter that feels far too close for comfort. It's a stark reminder of how quickly a normal walk can turn into a scene from a nightmare.
The sub for you is going to be more. Everything's going up, but our wages aren't going up. Because I'm still seeing wages that are f***ing pitiful on Indeed. Oh yay, I can make the same amount of money I made when I was out of high school, you know? Looks like there was a f***ing figure just standing right there. That's so crazy. I think it was my own shadow. That happens way too often.
The narrator tries to rationalize the sighting as her own shadow cast by the headlights. However, the angle of the figure and its stationary position don't quite align with her own movement. While the flash of light is brief, proponents believe this was a shadow person, citing the density in the shape. Others argue that it could be a roadside object that takes on a form under specific lighting. Skeptics point out that the camera's auto exposure can create strange silhouettes during sudden light flares. Whether it was a spirit or just a trick of the headlights remains a matter of debate. Let me know down in the comments what your theory is on this figure. We've just analyzed a haunted toy collection, a vanishing figure in the trees, and a roadside apparition. The evidence is building, and we are just getting started. If these clips are making you question what's lurking in the dark, make sure to subscribe to Pale Playback and hit the notification bell. We bring you fresh evidence and deep analysis every week. Stay with us, because our final investigations tonight involve some of the most startling visual evidence we've ever reviewed. This video takes us to the sterile environment of a building parking area at night. Javier Molina was startled by a sound and decided to investigate a parked car that appeared to be occupied, yet shouldn't have been. The tension in his voice is palpable as he approaches the vehicle, sensing that something is fundamentally wrong with the scene. The stillness of the night only adds to the growing dread as he peers through the glass, hoping to find a rational explanation. It's the kind of scenario that many security guards fear, encountering something that doesn't belong in the dark. The car sits alone under the dim lights, a silent witness to whatever might be lurking inside.
En este momento en el microhospital escuchamos un golpe y nos dimos vuelta porque dijimos, bueno, ¿quién está entrando? Cuestión de que no hay nadie atrás nuestro. Y miramos dentro del auto y dijimos, oh, pues si el auto... ¿Qué mierda es? Lo peor de todo es que no queremos salir. O sea, no, un miedo, la puta madre. Lo peor de todo es que se mueve adentro del auto y no hay nadie. O sea, ahora vamos a ir a controlar el auto. Pero parece como si fuese un...
The first subtle hint of movement occurs within the cabin. It's a fleeting shift, like someone adjusting in the seat. While some suggest this is a cam glitch or light reflecting off the interior, Javier's reaction proves he saw something. Keep your eyes on the driver's side window, because a much more terrifying detail is about to emerge.
Ahora vamos a ir a controlar el auto. Pero parece como si fuese un reflejo. La puta madre. No, boludo. Ya, salimos rápido para que vean que no es mentira. Mamá, la piel de gallina, hermano. Piel de gallina. Cagazo. Nadie. 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 Un montón. Es un montón. Mierda. Y encima nos mira la puta que te parió.
As the camera focuses, a pale face materializes in the reflection. Paranormal theorists point to the unnatural stillness. However, skeptics argue that this is merely a reflection of Javier himself. While this sighting is chilling, the most unsettling moment happens as he attempts to confirm the presence.
Mira la puta que te parió. No, chabón. No. Desapareció.
The figure simply ceases to exist once the light hits the window. Javier even opens the doors to prove the car is empty, but the feeling of being watched remains. Some believe this is a classic ghost in the machine scenario, while others argue that the event is a result of light refraction on glass surface. Skeptics also point out that the camera's focus hunting could be distorting a normal headrest into something more sinister. What do you see in the glass? A person? Or just a trick of the parking lot lights? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Security footage captures a series of events that would make any night worker reconsider their path. We're looking at a seemingly empty locker room in office space, but the environment is far from peaceful. Poltergeist activity is often characterized by the sudden movement of physical objects, and this clip provides a textbook example of things going slam in the night. The night vision creates an eerie atmosphere as we watch the static room, waiting for the peace to be shattered. This isn't just a single odd event, it's a sustained escalation that suggests a presence that is very active. Observe the locker doors carefully as we begin. The activity begins with the lockers. A sudden, forceful slamming of a door occurs without any visible cause. Skeptics often point to air pressure changes or faulty hinges as the culprit. However, the sheer violence behind the slam is difficult to explain without manual force. But keep watching, because as we move into the main office, the presence makes itself known in an even more dramatic fashion. The climax involves several filing cabinet drawers flying open simultaneously. Proponents point to the weight required for this to happen naturally. Others argue that these systems can be rigged with solenoids or lines, though no wires are visible in the high-contrast footage. Skeptics point out that a structural shift could cause a rack to tilt, but that wouldn't explain the papers scattering with such intent. The office seems to have a permanent resident who isn't interested in the standard shift. Is this a clever hoax or a genuine office haunting? Let me know your theories in the comments below. That concludes our investigation into some of the most unsettling clips circulating the web this week. From the high-flying anomaly at the park to the terrifying face in the car and the aggressive poltergeist in the office, the line between reality and the supernatural remains thin. Whether these are clever hoaxes or genuine glimpses into the unknown is a question only you can answer. Each piece of evidence challenges our understanding of the world when the lights go out. I want to hear from you. Which of these clips did you find the most convincing, and which ones do you think have a rational explanation? Your theories help keep the conversation alive. Thanks for joining us on Pale Playback. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for weekly investigations, and share your own experiences in the comments. We'll be back next week with even more evidence from the digital void. Until then, keep your cameras ready and stay curious.